Okay, let us start. Chinmay, once again, welcome. Congratulations to you on your recommendation. This is back-to-back recommendation actually. He was busy in his SSB and that is why we couldn't interview him earlier. He is recommended in his 13th and 14th attempt for TGC entry and Indian Coast Guard entry. 13th and 14th attempt means a long journey. Please, Chinmay, can we see you?
Morning, ma'am. So again,
So please let us know what had been your journey like in the beginning. How did it start? How did you get the motivation to join defense forces?
well, ma'am. So regarding the motivation to join the defense forces, ma'am, पहले से ही मतलब बचपन से ही I wanted to do something for my country. And having been growing in Maharashtra, listening to stories of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, so I always had this dream of becoming a soldier. And apart from that, when I appeared for my aptitude test that takes place after 9th or 10th to see where the inclination of that particular student is, तब भी मेरे इसमें defense forces ही आया था. And after that I visited National Defense Academy once, and after that I was totally clear कि मुझे कुछ भी करके यही करना है. So that is how I got pushed towards this particular side. After that, I appeared for the NDA during my 12th and first year. I appeared for NDA examinations, and also had applied for the technical entry scheme. I cleared the NDA examination twice, but couldn't get through the interviews. Same for technical entry scheme as well. And after that graduation, again I appeared for CDS and AFCAT, but again the same thing. I wasn't able to clear the interviews. But finally now during this 13th and 14th attempt for TGC and Coast Guard, I've been through and now waiting for the merit list.
So what all did you notice that you made changes or and when did you join NFA basically?
So honestly, ma'am, in June of 2023, I had appeared for my NCC Army interview, and I felt that I was very close to getting recommended, but somehow that didn't happen. And this was a time when I was actually following Colonel Nehru on YouTube as well as on Instagram, so I knew about his methodology a lot. But after this is when I actually started to like implement it in my daily life, like from June, July onwards. कि मतलब अच्छे से routine follow करो, set up weekly and monthly goals and stuff like that. So that really made a difference. But this is a time when I hadn't actually joined No Frills Academy. But after that, in September and October, I got screened out twice, and I thought कि maybe I need some more guidance, and that is when I joined No Frills Academy. And but honestly, in the first interview itself, Colonel Nehru was like कि तुम्हें कुछ improvement की जरूरत नहीं है. Just go for your interviews without any tension or taking any stress of getting recommended, and सब ठीक से हो जाएगा. Just doing what you are doing, keep working on your fitness, and things will fall in place. And that is exactly what happened. I got recommended in the very first attempt after having spoken with Colonel Nehru.
Okay, that confidence that gave you that might have made the difference. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So
Huh.
this was a time when I was actually sort of thinking of like starting to look for higher education opportunities because it had already been so many attempts. But sir बोले कि yes, you have that spark, just bindash jao ekdam. So that kind of gave me the push, and yes, things worked out.
Okay. Please let us know what means any particular changes if you made in your particular experience that this is what I need to do after introspection and daily routine में ये changes लाना है ऐसा कुछ किया.
So ma'am, like ever since my like teens or even when I joined college, my biggest weakness had been my lack of personal discipline and also fitness का बहुत issue था. So when I first started following Sir's methodology somewhere around July, I decided that I wanted to run a full marathon so that I can improve my fitness. And apart from that, I'm a working professional. So regarding work and also in personal life, I would set up this daily task list. कि आज ये कुछ भी करके करना है. Could be anything, small, big, it doesn't matter. And achieving them, and again setting weekly and monthly goals. Now these were long-term goals, so डेली गोल्स अचीव करोगे तब वीकली गोल्स अचीव होंगे थोड़े थोड़े स्टेप से, एंड इन टर्न द मंथली गोल्स विल बी अचीव. सो ऐसा करके व्हाट हैपेंड वाज, आई बिलीव कि व्हेन यू गेट समथिंग डन आपका सेल्फ एस्टीम बढ़ता है. देयर इज दिस टू कंसेप्ट दैट सर हैज यूज्ड इन हिज प्रैक्टिकल गाइड टू बीइंग एन ऑफिसर, सेल्फ एस्टीम एंड सेल्फ एफिकेसी. सो ये करके वो दोनों चीजें बढ़ती है एंड यू फील लाइक गेटिंग मोर डन, और उसके वजह से कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ता है. सो इवन इफ यू आर केपेबल एंड आपके पास कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है, सो you won't be able to perform. There will be some amount of performance anxiety while going through SSB, or for that matter, any testing procedure in your life. So these were the changes I made in myself, and yes, that certainly worked out.
Okay, that's it. How did NFA group activities help you?
Yes, ma'am. So regarding NFA group activities, I was working with NFA 18. We have our sessions at 7:30 p.m. right now. And उसमें everyone, there is this process of everyone gives a feedback to everyone else. So that was certainly helpful because while this is a group where everyone is observing very sincerely, observing everyone else very sincerely. So ऐसा नहीं है कि someone is just वहाँ है सिर्फ रहने के लिए. They are actually noticing you and आपके weaknesses या कुछ जो improve करना है, that gets noticed and they give you suggestions and you can certainly work upon them. So it was helpful in that particular way. And apart from that, NF18 के coordinator Maninder sir है. So he actively conducts these activities, और he is a very, I would say, very like जोश है उनमें conduct करने का. So that also certainly boosts everyone confidence in the group कि yes और मेहनत लेनी है वगैरह. So in this way the group helped me.
Hmm. Maninder is our right hand for group activities.
Yes, ma'am.
Please let us know. Then means in brief, what has been your academic background, and what did you do the graduation, and how you kept yourself motivated? Did you work anywhere? That academic background.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm actually, I in my 11th 12th I took science, and after that I pursued mechanical engineering. During after engineering, I joined a company called SLB One Subsea, where I'm currently working as a design engineer. And regarding keeping myself motivated, there came a point where, ma'am, I stopped thinking about SSBs after I started following Sir's methodology. It was all about कि पर्सनल लाइफ में कॉम्पिटेंट रहना है, प्रोडक्टिव रहना है. एसएसबीज डोंट मैटर, दे आर जस्ट लाइक दे आर अ रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ लाइफ, और अगर आप लाइफ में अच्छा कर रहे हैं तो मतलब एसएसबी में भी आप अच्छा परफॉर्म कर ही लोगे.
Okay, that's it. So, in short, please tell us the SSB experience. People are eager to know, like TGC, how many screened in, how many got in, and how many conference in. So, please tell us in brief, one by one. You can start screening, then psychology, GTO, interview, conference.
So for the screening for TGC entry, we were 75 who had reported and 32 of us were screened in. Uh, After that for psychology में as sir says कि कभी you don't need to practice this particular test. So मैंने कुछ practice नहीं किया था उनके बारे में, उनकी self description मैंने prepare किया था. And for after psychological test, I've got this positive vibe कि yes, my responses were really good. GTO में again the group was really supportive fortunately. मतलब ऐसे भसड़ नहीं मची थी that tends to happen in repeaters group. So everyone performed well is what's my opinion. So I just kept my calm. The quality of the points that I was giving was very good. Same during GP, we were able to do a great optimization of whatever points everyone was getting. Again in PGT, HGT, वगैरह, everyone was like being very cooperative. So that worked out for my benefit as well, because अगर team अच्छी हो तब भी आपका performance भी अच्छा होगा. For the interview specifically, uh, my interview lasted hardly 15 minutes, and interviewing officer only asked me about my work, my family, and my friends, and उसके बाद he didn't ask me anything. So that was it. For the conference, again, my waiting period was slightly more, like it was close to 10 minutes or something. and I was asked a few questions like कौन सा attempt है, why do you think you weren't able to get recommended before, and what are the improvements that you made in for this particular interview. And after that I was asked to go, and out of those 32, total 3 were recommended.
Okay, okay, let's read. Any specific difference did you notice in your Coast Guard attempt? If you wish to brief us about the Coast Guard.
For the Coast Guard attempt, ma'am, the only difference was कि sir had already told me कि selection का stress मत लो. TGC के वक्त थोड़ा तो था मन में कि I would like to get recommended. This time I was totally free of that particular thought, line of thought कि select वगैरह होना है. I was like, I have been recommended once. I perform the same way. I will get through. So this was the only difference during the Coast Guard attempt. बाकी it was all the same.
Okay. Any specific tips that you wish to give to those who are appearing for CG CAT? Is it different? And since written examination is included in the recent years.
What I would like to say is that the CGCAT exam, I found it even easier than the AFCAT examination.
Acha.
Because because since I have been working, I barely got any chance to prepare for the CGCAT. मैंने सिर्फ एक बार मैथ्स के वगैरह formulas देखे थे a day prior, and I went for the exam and I was able to clear it very easily. So I would just say that stick to the basics of mathematics and English. The rest GK वगैरह you can prepare, but it takes a lot of time. If you stick to maths, English, and intelligence test वगैरह things, it would work out very well.
Okay, thank you. With that note, it was a very brief experience sharing. Thank you for this one. Please, Nehru sir, I'll give this to you.
Congratulations, Chinmay.
Thank you, sir.
अच्छा, चिन्मय ये बताओ, ये योर ग्रुप मेंबर्स कितना है तुम्हारा 18 में?
Total quantity I'm not sure.
एक्टिव कितना है?
There used to be around 17 members in NFA18 at any given moment, 17 plus or minus 2 or 3.
And generally they are good chaps?
Yes, sir. Extremely good chaps, sir. Everyone contributed very well to whatever group activities. Yes, sir.
Extremely good chaps. So ये बताओ यार, how is it that, the world is full of, the world is full of cockeyed people. How do good chaps come and join up No Frills Academy?
So what I would think is कि good chaps are not joining No Frills Academy. They come to No Frills Academy and then they become good chaps. Because it's like कोई एक बंदा अच्छा
इतना ट्रांसफॉर्म हो जाते हैं?
Yes, sir.
इतना ट्रांसफॉर्म हो जाते हैं लोग?
I feel so, sir, because when someone is even one person is like performing, he has good group behavior वगैरह, so everyone knows कि क्या करना है, but they are like hesitant to do that because they want to show themselves कि I am doing this or that. And that is what causes the chaos in any group. But that one person who is actually performing well, सब उससे motivate होते हैं यहाँ, or they observe him and they try to imbibe them that in themselves, and at the end of the day it becomes a very cooperative group is what I feel and have observed.
Very fine. Now you see, thing is, ये सब जगह जो है, you've been to SSB so many times, सब जगह focus यही रहता है, TAT कर लो, गांठ बांध लो, such kind of stuff is there. वेबसाइट्स में, कोचिंग में, आई थिंक इवन द सक्सेसफुल रहे हुए कैंडिडेट्स भी इस तरह की बातचीत करते हैं. तो हाउ कुड यू गेट आउट ऑफ दिस आउटलुक?
सर, सो आपकी जो भी मेथोडोलॉजी है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल की बी गुड इन योर प्रोडक्टिव एंड अ कॉम्पिटेंट पर्सन इन योर पर्सनल लाइफ एंड एसएसबी हो जाएगा. सो आई केप्ट दैट थिंग इन माय माइंड एंड आई रियलाइज्ड कि मतलब what are the weekend
I will just interrupt you, Chinmay. You
Yes,
kept it in your mind, I know that, and you got
Yes,
success also. I am saying that before you got success, how did you decide that this makes sense rather than the methodology which the entire world seems to be following?
Sir, this after having like read your book, I realized कि मतलब certainly they are not looking for an officer who can write good stories or who can give flowery answers for SRTs and that. So they're looking for something else, and that made me realize that practicing them is certainly not going to make a difference if I'm not making improvements in my personal life. The same goes for other things like guard bandna and all. That can't be the motive of becoming an officer, is what I thought. So it doesn't make sense to practice these things.
Very fine. So you had got mentally tuned, or you were amenable to these ideas, and you felt that they make sense, and that is why you got on with it.
Yes, sir. Right.
And now tell me, when you look back to your past performance overall and your performance in this TGC and the Coast Guard entry, what were the visible differences when you compare?
So the visible difference was that first key selection का stress नहीं ले रहा था मुझे ऐसा. Obviously, when you're appearing for something like this, there is thought in mind कि select होना है, but it was at a minimal level. Number two was in my GTO, again, I was contributing very well and giving quality inputs, but there was nothing like I have to like cut someone between discussions वगैरह so that I could speak. I used to wait for my turn, and 15-20 minutes was more than enough to give 3 or 4 quality opinions for GD, GP, progressive group task as well. I was giving good progressive group task, HGT, FGT, command task. I had good ideas, but I was giving other people chance as well. So again, there was a great coordination amongst the group, and that is what helped me. Is what I mean.
So the scarcity mindset, which was apparent earlier, had got considerably reduced.
Yes, sir, because if I compare my current attempts with my first NDA attempt where I got conference out, there I was literally speaking just so that I should be able to be noticed, and there was no quality. I was like not being a good part of the group. Psychology mein there were the responses were not they were not original responses. They were something where I wanted to create an impression of myself. Ki, yes, I am officer worthy or something. So like if I compare the first and the last attempt, there is a great difference in what kind of Chinmay I was back then and what kind of Chinmay I am today. Oh, sorry.
Because of the mindset.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, अभी इंटरव्यू 15 मिनट में ही पूरा हो गया तो टेंशन नहीं हुआ? लोग बात करते हैं कि भाई 15 मिनट में हुआ तो इसका मतलब मामला साफ है.
सर थोड़ा हुआ था पहले. In the first 10-20 minutes, I was just trying to recall what had been asked, and 15-20 minutes seemed very short. But again, I was like, छोड़ो out pass पे जाते.
Okay. And normally people speak to me from SSB. तो तुम बातचीत कर रहे थे आफ्टर परफॉर्मेंस कि ये हुआ इंटरव्यू का, या नहीं, बातचीत नहीं किया था?
No sir, not at all. मुझे लगा कि I was doing very well, and सीधा आपको गुड न्यूज ही दे दूंगा कि सेलेक्ट हो चुका हूं.
Okay, very fine. Okay, now that you had a long this journey of SSB, काफी तजुर्बा आपने हासिल किया है, तो अब इस तजुर्बे के बेसिस में what advice you give to the freshers, क्योंकि मैं वो एडवाइस दे नहीं सकता हूँ क्योंकि मैं फ्रेशर में हो गया था मेरा काम. So how they can make this journey shorter, क्या करें वो लोग जिससे कि 13-14 अटेम्प्ट ना लगे, 2-3 बार में ही बात बन जाए.
Well, sir, I would just say कि again, SSB is just a representation of your like personal and professional life, and how if you are performing, whatever performance expectations you have in your professional life, student हो या फिर office हो, that is what they're also looking for in SSB. So be a good member. Don't like you don't have to create false impressions of yourself anywhere in the psychological test. Just give the answers that come to your mind. GTO में be a good group member, irrespective of however the group is. अगर disruptive हो, cooperative हो, doesn't matter. Just stay calm and give quality inputs. Interview में also like give honest responses, because जनरल नॉलेज आई नो कि कभी कभी दिक्कत होती है, बट irrespective of that interview में all you have to do is tell the truth, and even if there are mistakes that you have committed in your past, you have to show that you have learned from it, And again, whatever I have said in the past 3 or 4 minutes, again, that is the same thing you also have to do in your personal lives, not just for getting into the defense forces. So yeah, this is my message to all the freshers.
अब उसका क्या करें जब ये ना दिमाग में प्रेशर आता है कि यार नेगेटिव नहीं होना है, पॉजिटिव रहना है, सेंटेंस बनाने में ही इतने सारे असूल बताए हुए उनको फॉलो करना है, देयर मोर डोंट्स देन डूज. So how do you guard against these things?
Sir, again the same thing. As you said, psychological test कुछ practice नहीं करना है. There are many suggestions coming from here and there. You must not write should, must or something.
Sorry
And वो
interrupting.
सब
Sorry interrupting you, Chinmay. नहीं, प्रैक्टिस
Yes,
तो
sir.
नहीं करा, वो मान लिया हमने बात. पर भाई जब आप लिखने लग रहे हो तो वहां पे दिमाग में तो आएगा ना, इतना सारा इंस्ट्रक्शंस मिला हुआ है लाइफ में कि सेंटेंस बनाने में ये डोंट है, कुड नहीं होना चाहिए, शुड नहीं होना चाहिए, ये नहीं होना चाहिए, कोई फैक्चुअल चीज नहीं होना चाहिए. एंड आई डोंट नो, मेरे को तो मालूम नहीं है, बट बहुत सारे इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं. सिमिलरली एसआरटी में है, पॉजिटिव होना है, स्टोरी में पॉजिटिव होना है, नेगेटिव ना हो जाए कहीं कुछ. ये सब प्रेशर नहीं दिमाग में आता, आया नहीं था आपके?
नहीं सर, अब नहीं आता, because in my personal life which I have become so solution oriented कि whatever problem it is doesn't matter what the problem is. अगर आप solution नहीं निकाल रहे थे तो problem is going to persist. The same mindset I took there, and a lot of my responses were certainly towards solving the whatever issue has been presented in the TAT or something. And these were normally real life issues. ऐसा नहीं कि मैं कुछ government scheme promote कर रहा हूँ वगैरह.
मैं
So
सॉरी इंटरप्ट अगेन, मैं बहुत इंटरप्ट कर रहा हूँ. आप तो समझ गए, आप सुलझे हुए आदमी हो, तब तो आपका सिलेक्शन हो गया. अरे ये बताओ, जिनकी उलझे में पड़े हैं, जिनके माझा उलझा हुआ है पूरा, उनको सुलझाओ ना थोड़ा.
Sir, again, I would go back to two things. If you work upon yourself, आपका self confidence बढ़ेगा, and whatever garbage is coming from outside in your mind, you won't be bothered by them. And number two, I would say that I started practicing a lot of meditation and pranayama. So that certainly helps out filter a lot of the things, and you can stay focused minded. So even if there are things that are coming from outside, even while writing the test or something, so that certainly gets filtered out, and you can focus on your test. And combine these two things, your performance will certainly improve.
Very fine, Chinmay. I have nothing more to ask. What advice you have for our students and for us? We are running No Frills Academy. How can we do it better?
Well, so suggestion to everyone is that keep working hard, because की methodology or No Frills Academy की methodology is foolproof, and like honestly, you shouldn't have an academy to realize कि what we have to do to get in is actually more practical. So कुछ किसी को बताने की जरूरत नहीं पड़नी चाहिए, but most of us are like stupid during college days, and also we don't realize this. And yes, sir, that's it. Apart from that, academy ko, I would just say, sir, if you could interact more with the students, that would be helpful, because आपके opinions वगैरह सुनने से certainly लोगों का boost और students का मोरल और boost होगा.
तो बात नहीं करते मेरे से, मैं क्या करूं? भाई तुमने
Yes,
कॉल
I know,
किया तो
but
मैं तेरे को कॉल बैक किया था ना, कि नहीं किया?
yes, sir.
और क्या कर सकता हूँ? और मेरे से डरते हैं ये लोग. तेरे ग्रुप वाले कितने डरते हैं?
Sir, I guess that again
you were also scared of talking कि डांट पड़ जाएगी?
No, sir, because I was actually working hard towards it. So, डरना क्या? If there is something you could give a positive input so that I could improve, that it was certainly going to be helpful to me only. So I was not at all afraid. And I believe I only called you once in this whole, from joining to October till February, to just give you a कि ये चल रहा है मेरे लाइफ में. Apart from that, we never really spoke again. मैं सिर्फ एनएफए के एक्टिविटीज करता था 7 साढ़े 7 को, and that was it.
और जो बात नहीं कर रहे हैं उनके लिए क्या एडवाइस है आपकी?
Well, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're afraid of sir, that means you're certainly not working hard enough, and that's why you're feeling afraid कि वो कुछ बोल देंगे तुमने बड़ा बोला. So yeah, even like 1 week of following this methodology brings a lot of improvement in your self-esteem, and then you will actually feel confident. And certainly, if you ask sir, if you are facing any problem, तो sir तो मतलब मदद करेंगे. Apart from that, your group members will also help if you need anything. So yeah, that's my suggestion to everyone.
You know, Chinmay, I'll now share with you one thing which I have not shared in this kind of a forum earlier. There are some of my students who are really doing well, who have not got selected, or some of them who have got selected. They periodically keep interacting with me after 4-5 years also. Fine. वो बताते रहते हैं कि सर मेरा अभी इधर से ना मैं इधर जॉब जंप कर गया, अभी मैं 20 लाख के पैकेज में था, अभी 24-25 में पहुंच गया हूं. Thing is that all those who are working sincerely, they feel like, you share with your friend or a parent na, something good what you have accomplished, so they remain in touch. और जो लोग ना कुछ कर रहे होते हैं ना, they hide. So you got the point. So please, boys and girls, do be sincere in your efforts. कोई 13-14 अटेम्प्ट से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. ये सब मिसकंसेप्शंस हैं कि द सिस्टम इज बायस्ड अगेंस्ट यू, एंड ऑल. द सिस्टम इज प्रीटी फेयर. ठीक है ना. जब आप ठीक ठाक होगे तो वो आपको सेलेक्ट कर लेगा. फाइन. कोई ऑफिसर का बच्चा होने की जरूरत नहीं है. कोई जो है ये कोचिंग वाला एकेडमी वाला असूल लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है. अगर आप जिंदगी में अपना पढ़ाई ठीक to remain in touch, like those students I quoted, that they remain in touch with me after 4-5 questions from others. Hello, I think my network had gone bad. Was I audible, Chinmay?
No sir.
So I had nothing more to add. You are open to questions from others. Thanks a lot, and do remain in touch, Chinmay.
Yes sir, most definitely.
And not 1 or 2 years, 3-4 years, remain in touch. So long as I am
Yes,
around in the world.